Congresswoman Crockett for 5 minutes.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair, and thank you to each and every one of you for being here this afternoon to testify. When I was in Waco at our Farm Bill listening session, I heard a lot about the difficulty farmers are facing with high input cost. But I also heard a lot about how resilient farmers are. Farmers alter decisions from planting choices to harvesting techniques to overall farm management to adapt to a changing market. Most of all, I heard about farmers making alterations to survive in challenging climate. As you all know, our planet is heating up, and now we are not just facing higher temperatures, we are dealing with the changes in animal and plant behavior, soil characteristics, weather patterns, and so much more. I know our sugar growers and our sorghum growers in Texas are battling a terrible drought and don't have the water that is owed to us from Mexico. We all know that in the coming years, more folks will be put in situations where they are trying to stretch our limited supply of water even further. Even so, many growers in my state, like farmers and ranchers across this country, are adapting to the harsher climate. Mr. Meeker, I appreciate what you said in your opening statement about how planting sorghum is climate smart because it is resilient to drought. But if I understand correctly, your crop insurance rates aren't reflecting that. Let me be clear, we must maintain actuarial soundness, but I think there are ways to recognize the reality of our climate in our crop insurance policies. Look at health insurance companies, where they've started to see reductions in premiums for wearing things such as health monitoring devices. It is an actuarially sound decision and doesn't punish those who don't want to make the change, it just benefits those that are willing to adapt. I'm glad we're having this hearing because it gives us a chance to start a dialogue. I learned so much from listening to the growers in Waco. So I want to let you in on what I'm thinking, so hopefully we can figure out our best approach. Crop insurance isn't a monolith. There are lots of different policies, so I wonder if there is room for some experimentation. Let me be clear, I would not suggest anything that isn't voluntary and incentivized based. I wouldn't want to leave anyone worse off for continuing their current practice. I don't know if it is a study or an option we offer or incentives for private insurers, but I do know that from the testimony today that many of our commodity growers would benefit from more climate-aware insurance. I hope to explore this issue further with my colleagues, but it must be based on your input both here and following up with our offices. Working together, I think we can ensure American agriculture is both environmentally and economically sustainable for generations to come. So my question for each of the witnesses, starting with Mr. Meeker, is this: what factors of crops you grow or practices you employ are not accounted for by current crop insurance policies that you feel should be considered? Or if none, what should we be thinking about as we consider reauthorizing crop insurance?
75% of the acres of sorghum are raised in a no-till, using no-till technology, no-till methods. That is not documented anywhere in RMA data. That's just your yields have gone up and gone down with using that technology and that management style. You know, we've had the opportunity to engage with the Climate Smart Commodities Grant, and we're excited about that. We think that it's going to accentuate the attributes that sorghum has as a water-sipping crop and as a resource-conserving crop, that we'll be able to utilize that and showcase what our abilities are as a crop. But you know, I think there's some really good ways to look at the actuarial tables and look at where our yields have been at because of diverted water from a higher value crop and having some of those zeros taken away. I think that'd be a really awesome opportunity, and RMA really hasn't had that ability to do that yet, and maybe through this committee we can ask RMA to have some of that flexibility.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else? We've still got about 30 seconds.
I would just say, I don't know that this is taken into account with crop insurance or not, but one of the great things about peanuts is they're a very sustainable crop, and they use far less water, which is a very valuable resource, as you seem to know. They use far less water than a lot of crops, and so that's a really great thing about peanuts.
On the occasion, where I farm, I'm an irrigated farmer. On the rare occasion I have water, I grow a lot of alfalfa hay. There is no effective coverage on alfalfa or grass crops.
Gentlelady's time has expired. I now recognize